Okay, hi everyone, Fox 19 now, First Alert Meteorologist Anna DuVall here with your forecast update. Here's what it's looking like outside right now. It does look a little gloomy. We're seeing some peaks of sun through the clouds earlier, is making for what I thought was going to be a pretty sunset, but I think that sun is starting to go down now. We're getting a little bit of longer days. Typically this would be completely dark, and I can see the light still, which is good news for anybody that likes those longer days here. So this is what we're going to be talking about over the course of this live stream. It's mostly going to be about snow. It's going to be about freezing cold temperatures, wind chills below zero, and a first alert weather day. So this is what we're talking about. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys around town, show you what those temperatures are looking like. Right now, of our Cincinnati camera, our tower camera, 30 degrees. We have a west wind, which is making it feel more like 21 outside. So definitely feeling the breeze out there. And we can go ahead and click over to our Turfway camera, and you can see that again, 30 degree temperatures, those west winds making it feel even colder. That's going to be the trend throughout the rest of around town. Now we're going to be talking about, I see the comment here, Ricky, I got to see my best friend. She goes to Princeton, so I got to fly in to see her. We spent a day in New York. We got to go back, get to be a Princetonite for a day. We went to the Wawas and I saw her buildings. It was gorgeous. They had this art museum on campus, and they had Monet paintings, and it was just gorgeous. So I'm definitely glad I got to see it. I left right when it started snowing there, and I came back here. There wasn't any snow at my house, but I know people have been seeing snow throughout the day. I'm just glad I got off the plane in time because I literally landed at like noon today. So then we get right back into it, right back into working and doing shows for you guys. So this is what it's looking like today. I'm particularly showing you guys the almanac for today because our high was 36, our low was 31. So we didn't get very warm today, where lows weren't too low, but they were still above our normal. Our high was pretty close to normal, nowhere near that record-breaking heat. But look at this, 1977, negative 24 degrees was that temperature that we saw for today, record-breaking temperature obviously, and that's when the Ohio River started to freeze, and so that's pretty significant for 1977. And again, today we saw some places that saw some snow. We're going to get into that. But again, on this day in history, the morning low was negative 24, and this is when the Ohio River started to freeze. We saw round after round of freezing cold temperatures. And again, today's high was 36 degrees, which is 54 degrees warmer than it was in 1977. So I know Erin was talking about this earlier today if you were on one of her streams, but I mean, if you have to be happy about something, just be happy we're not negative 24. That's going to be my silver lining for today. Here are those highest snowfall totals for today so far. This is within the last 24 hours here. Maureystown, Ohio, 1.7 inches. Wilmington, close to an inch. Union, Kentucky, close to an inch. Georgetown saw 2 inches. Amelia, close to half an inch. And Midland, up to almost an inch there. So we saw a pretty decent amount of snowfall, but not everyone saw the snow. And this is what it's looking like out there on clouds and radar right now. You can see another round starting to make its way into the tri-state here, so you could see a few of those snow flurries lingering around as we move throughout our evening. And here it is just on a different view. You can see some of those heavier pockets of snow indicated by the wider white colors there. And that's the same on the other one. The darker blues were indicating the heavier snowfall, but most people should just be seeing some flurries out there for the time being. Again, here are those current conditions out there. You might be seeing some visibility issues, especially in those places with the heavier snowfall. 32 in Cincinnati, 23 in Batesville, 33 in Flemingsburg, 30 in Covington, 29 in Wilmington. So again, chilly day today. We didn't get up very warm across the area. Again, we just went over these. 25 there in Connersville. If we zoom out, 25 in Cleveland, 16 in Chicago, 18 St. Louis. And again, if you guys remember, we talked about how we're seeing a 10-mile-per-hour west wind. And so this is taking these 18 degrees, 16 degrees, these teens, these single digits over in Omaha, and ushering them into our area. And again, that's why we're seeing those temperatures drop, and we're seeing those colder temperatures, and that'll kind of continue to be the trend here into the next couple of days, and that's why we have those first alert weather days, and that's why we see those negative wind chill values. Here's what it's looking like on the 24-hour temperature change. From anywhere from 5 degrees to 10 degrees difference. I think when it's cold, it's just cold. You can't really tell the difference unless it's about 20 degrees in my opinion, but you might be feeling slightly colder today than you were yesterday. Here's what it's feeling like based on wind chill, and again, those teens there in Connersville, Batesville, 21 is what it feels like in CVG, 26 in Georgetown, 20 in Wilmington, 21 in Middletown. So definitely, again, feeling a lot colder. Bundle up if you're heading out tonight. 15 degrees is your low temperature tonight going into tomorrow morning. So it's going to be very cold. You're going to see those single-digit wind chill values. We talked about that west wind again. 5 to 10 miles an hour, and this is what's really ushering in those colder temperatures. You might even be feeling a wind gust out there up to 25 miles an hour. So again, that's just something to look out for. Covering any exposed extremities is going to be really important. Bringing in your pets, your plants. I know most people don't do that here, but if you need to bring any of that inside, cover up any exposed pipes. All of that is going to be really important going into the next couple of days as we stay well below where we should be. But we're going to kind of keep these gusty conditions moving through Sunday. Going into Monday, again, here's that breeze. You saw the 30s there and 10 a.m. And so strong wind gusts going into Monday. And then as we move into Tuesday, things sort of calm down a little bit, especially comparatively to Monday. But let me show you what it's going to look like because of those wind gusts for our feels like temperatures. Slow this down a little bit. Sorry, guys. I know that kind of jumps ahead really quickly. Okay, so this is going to be for tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., 2 degrees, Connersville, Batesville. These are feels like temperatures, guys. So single digits out there, maybe a 10. But overall, very cold temperature. Whether it's single digits, whether it's feeling like the teens or 10s, definitely want to cover up any exposed skin. Wear those extra layers. That's something going to be very important going into Sunday, but it's going to be even more important going into the next couple of days. So Monday, for most of the day there, Sunday for the most of the day is going to feel more like the teens. Going into Monday early morning, I'm trying to get a precise time for you guys. So 7 a.m., if you're heading out to work, this is what it's going to feel like. Negative feels like values, Hillsborough, Wilmington, Connersville, Batesville, then single digits for a lot of people. You could even see those negative values going through Monday as well. Now, we didn't issue a first alert weather day for this because it's not as widespread as Tuesday is going to be, but you'll stay pretty cold going into 10 a.m. Once that sun rises, you can see those negative wind chill values there for Monday. And going into the afternoon, things sort of pick up, but just look how cold it's going to be going into Tuesday. Starting at midnight, going into 1 a.m., the entire tri-state seeing those negative wind chill values, and you'll see that trend continue until about 10 o'clock. We really won't see us get out of negative wind chill values across the tri-state here until we get to 10, 11 o'clock, once that sun really starts to settle in. And then we get back into the teens by the afternoon. But overall, Tuesday is going to be our coldest morning. So we have that first alert weather day for the first half of our day. And again, that's going to be due to those negative wind chill values really taking over the tri-state there. Ricky, we'll get into next weekend in just 1 second. We're almost there, actually. Again, here's that Tuesday rundown for you. Again, from midnight to 10 a.m. is when you can expect to see those negative wind chill values really take over the whole tri-state there. So sub-zero wind chill values. Your impact is going to be covering up any of your exposed extremities, bringing your pets, your plants. Again, cover up those pipes. Those are all important things going into it. Tomorrow's not going to be as cold, but it's still going to be pretty chilly out there. 15 Cincinnati, 18 Lunken, 13 in Connorsville and in Batesville. So definitely going to be feeling the effects of winter here over the next couple of days. If you haven't really gone outside to feel it, you'll really be feeling it going into Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow, going to be pretty cold. That's the high temperature of the day, 27 degrees, so slightly colder than it was today. And it's going to feel even colder than that. We saw the teens there for tomorrow's feels like values. So we're seeing a couple of those spotty snow showers out there right now. Some people might even be seeing a wintering mix. That's going through tonight. Going through the rest of your Sunday, we'll see a pretty decent amount of sun during the day, but then we could see another round of some snow flurries going into Sunday and Monday as well. And so that's what we're watching out for our next couple of days. Most people are going to stay pretty dry from this, but you could definitely see maybe a spotty flurry or two. That's going to be something to watch out for going into Sunday evening. You can see on this model here, this one's a little bit different, but those snow flurries really just clip our more northern counties. And so that's something we'll be watching out for going into tomorrow night when we're on this live stream with you guys. Going into Monday again, very spotty in nature. A lot of people won't see them going through Monday. But then we stay mostly dry. Now going into the middle portion of the week here to answer a question. So we talked about how that's on the cusp there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday we could see another round where it just clips our counties there. And then going into Wednesday, it looks like we're kind of getting sandwiched where we have rain below us, snow above us. But we're mostly staying dry, but that can't rule out a couple of spotty showers out there, especially at 5 p.m. That's after peak heating. So if we're anywhere close or flirting with that freezing mark, it's probably going to come down as rain. Now moving into Thursday, we have another one of those events where it's just clipping our more northern counties. And this is kind of the trend you guys are going to pick up on here. Friday, staying mostly dry, but going into Saturday for next week, I mean, this is really far away, guys, but you could expect some sort of snow out there, so that's just something to watch out for going into next week. But again, this is what it's looking like, and again, that snow that we just saw for Saturday, Sunday, we have a pretty decent chance of seeing it, but still pretty far away, so we're going to continue to watch out for that. But you can see Wednesday, that next chance of seeing rain. And we saw that there on our model. Something I want to show you guys again why I'm saying rain instead of snow. We're going to talk about those high temperatures. Wednesday, we bump up to 40 as our high temperature. So anything that comes through in the afternoon, late afternoon going into the evening, which is when that rain was showing on the model, then it's going to come down as rain and not snow. So something to watch out for. We got the 20s for the next couple of days, but then we're going to be back into the 40s, the 30s here by the end of the week before we plunge back into the 20s. Low temperatures, again, we're seeing the teens, we're seeing the single digits going into Monday, Tuesday, feeling more like the negatives going into Tuesday. I think you'll see the 20s, so this is probably more typical, a little bit below our average, but definitely more typical than seeing those negative values out there. Here's something that we can look at here. Last week, we saw that warm up, we saw the 50s up mid 50s there as well. Big dip down to the 20s. And now we're kind of floating around this section. We're seeing those below average temperatures. I guess that's what we get for having those warmer temperatures, having those 70s out there. And now we're seeing well below average temperatures, even going into the single digits for our low temperatures. And then we show that warm up there for you on Wednesday when that rain moves through instead of some snow moving through. But let me show you guys the next 3 days headlines and let's do a little recap. Okay, today, PM snow, we're seeing those flurries out there right now. Saturday, you could see light snow up to 1.5 inches, mostly to the east of Cincinnati. And then Sunday through Tuesday, it's going to be pretty sunny, but it's going to be really cold. And then Tuesday is that first alert weather day that we have on deck for you guys. Oh, Ricky, you're definitely smart enough. School was really hard. It took a lot of studying, a lot of hard classes. You have to take math up to all the calculus classes, all the way through differential equations. You take a whole bunch of science classes too, so you kind of have to be good at math, science, and then you also have to have the ability to write, to talk. So you kind of have to have a lot of tricks up your sleeve for this, but it's definitely worth it. I really enjoy it. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I see your message, Scott and Sam. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend too. I'm going to pull up the 7-day forecast for you. Sunday, 27 degrees. Again, colder day tomorrow than it was yesterday. Going into Monday, MLK Day, a lot of people are going to have off work, off school, 24 degrees. So if you're planning on getting outside and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I mean, you're going to have to just layer up. Tuesday, it's going to be seeing those negative wind chill values going into the early morning hours, going into work for Tuesday. That's why we had that first alert weather day on deck. 25 degrees will be your high, but then as we move into Wednesday, you can see the 40s come back, which means we're going to be seeing some rain in the mix. And then the 30s for Thursday and Friday. Mostly going to be dry days, but you can't rule out maybe one of those spotty northern snow pockets that'll push through, but a lot of people are going to be staying dry through this Thursday, Friday. Moving into Saturday and Sunday, that's when our next bigger snow chance is expected, so we're watching out for that for Saturday, Sunday. We saw that system on our models there. Brenda, actually, we're not starting tonight until 11 p.m. There's a football game that's going to be on, so the 10 p.m. news got pushed to 11. So we're doing an hour at 11 o'clock tonight. But yes, I will be on tonight to give you guys another update. Yeah, I really do think that Mother Nature is being kind of all over the place. We're kind of getting that weather whiplash here because we had the 70s, we had the 50s, and now we're 20s, feeling like the single digits, feeling like the negative. So we're kind of all over the place right now. And I know that it's January and we should be okay with the cold. I think it hit us a lot. It hit me in particular a lot harder because we had the 70s, because we had the 50s, and now we're like back in the 20s. And so it's definitely causing a little bit of a tussle there, Crystal. I'll see what I can do. But unless anyone has any other questions, I'm going to go ahead, put this full screen. You guys can look a little bit closer at it before I log off, and then I'll see you guys at 11 o'clock tonight. I hope everyone has a great rest of your Saturday, your Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi, Brenda. I see your comment. I'm going to see what I can pull up really quickly for us. Just give me 1 second, and I will try to pull this up. I'm going to put a different picture in there to make sure this is right before I show everyone. Okay, so you're asking about your birthday, and here is what I can give you. Brenda, you said the 29th is your birthday? Happy early birthday. It's looking like it's going to be below normal, so basically what we're feeling like right now for your birthday. So this is from the Climate Prediction Center, so we're watching out, again, for colder temperatures. This is January 25th through 31. That doesn't mean that every day will be cold, but overall through those dates, we're expected to be below our average in terms of temperatures, which would be around 36 degrees is our normal for this time of year. So it's saying we'll be well below that. So that's something to keep in mind. I can pull up a different one that will show us precipitation. And here's what it's looking like for our normal precipitation outlook. So pretty normal, which means if we are above normal, you could maybe be expecting some snowfall, especially, with those well below average temperatures. But it's saying we're going to be pretty close to normal, which for this time of year, let me show you guys. Go back to the almanac here. For this time of year, a normal amount of precipitation is about 1/10 of an inch, and that's rainfall. So like equivalent, the water equivalent would be how you would change that into snowfall. So not a lot of snow either. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty cold and mostly dry going into the week of your birthday. But that doesn't mean we can't hold out hope that maybe your birthday will be that anomaly, that one day of the 8 to 14 days that will be a little bit warmer. I hope so. But I'll go ahead and put the 7-day back up so people can see that as well.